In this video, we're going to be taking a look at the Star Wars The Vintage Collection Republic Trooper from the Old Republic. Hi there Star Wars collectors, and welcome to another Bossk Bounty video. Now, as I mentioned in the intro, we're going to be taking a look at the Star Wars The Vintage Collection Republic Trooper from the Old Republic. This one here is the reissue. This is the one that won the vote from the vault, and it arrived today from Hasbro Pulse. This one on the right is the original release, and I just want to do a quick comparison, and we are going to be opening up this one in a bit and comparing the figure against this figure. We're also going to be comparing the card backs, seeing if there's any differences and what have you. But the great news about this release is that it's on the new thicker cardstock and it's unpunched, which is a first for the Vintage Collection 2.0, apart from ones that have come in special packs and the Bad Batch 4 pack, things like that. Any time where the retailer doesn't have to punch that out to put it on a peg, really, that's when we should be getting unpunched. And on this occasion, we are, which is great. So we're going to compare the card backs in a second. We're just going to get Bossk and the Republic Trooper out of the way. All right then, so the first thing that struck me was that the figure is actually packed in very, very similar to the original release, in terms of the accessories anyway. The accessories are in exactly the same place. We have the blaster there, the knife, and then the larger cannon blaster just behind the figure, and it's exactly the same. The difference is really though is that the bubble is much bigger than that one, and I find that amazing. Really, they're packing exactly the same things into the bubble, but for some reason back in 2012 they could make the bubbles nice and thin, and I don't really know why we have to have this bigger bubble, especially when they're trying to save on plastic. But basically what happens with that is that we lose ever so slightly a bit more of the image. So on this one here you can see that we can actually see his full shoulder, whereas this bubble here overlaps the shoulder. Also, if you look at the image of the Republic Trooper on the right hand side, the original release, is slightly more zoomed out. You can see that you can see his full cannon there, whereas on this one, again, the racetrack overlaps. So once again, it is slightly different, and you know, if you've got the original release, you might be happy with that because it makes the reissue different. Apart from that, the card backs are pretty much identical. Of course, you have the age and the choking hazard thing up in the corner. We never had that one on this one anyway, because this is the European release and they put the stickers over the top there, and you can see the big sticker on the back. So VC113, you can see that huge sticker on the back which covers up the image, and then on this one it's the new back. VC113 retains the number, and you can see some of the other figures there. I think I've reviewed all of those figures. They're all on the channel if you want to check them out. So that's the differences between the two card backs. I mean, what I would say is that my original one isn't in great shape. We've got a bit of a ding on the bottom right hand corner there. It seems that this one may have had a tiny bit of sun damage because the black just isn't as nice as this one. So I'm really, really pleased to have this one now, especially as it's unpunched. And that's pretty much the differences between the two card backs. Alright then, so now we've had a look at the card backs, let's open the figure and check him out and compare him against the original. Alright then, so here he is out of the packaging, and to be honest, with them standing here like that, it's very, very difficult to tell them apart. We're only really going to be able to tell the difference when we take the helmets off, because the new one has the photoreal technology. And I've had a look at it already, and it is a really, really good head sculpt and a really good photoreal. So we'll look at that in a second. But I just wanted to put the figures here like this so you could see them. Now this one on the left is the original version, and this one on the right is the reissue version. Now what I would say is that this version isn't the Vintage Collection version. This version here is the 3.75 inch Black Series version, because he was repacked in the Black Series as well. I think it was the orange line. I had a few of them. My son has one loose, I had one loose, and it's nice to have two of these guys now. They look pretty cool together. I will say that the blasters and the accessories and the knife are all made of the same plastic, it seems. It doesn't look like they're using any dodgy bendy plastic that we've been seeing recently with the Vintage Collection figures. They seem to be half decent quality like they were back here. I would say that on my sample, the visor on the helmet isn't painted as fully as I would like. It's certainly not as good as that one, but at the end of the day, these paint issues, you know, are different from figure to figure, so I'm not really too bothered about it. But look how good he is. He is an absolutely cracking figure. Unfortunately, he is a little bit dated in terms of that he only has these swivel hips, and also he doesn't have any hinges on his wrists, which is a bit annoying because you want to try and get him to hold these weapons and everything. But he still looks amazingly cool. I mean, look at him with all of his like camo gear on and what have you, all of his different markings on his armour. He looks super, super cool. So we'll just turn the figures around so you can see them from the back. So there you go. Once again, very little difference, if anything at all. It seems to be an ever so slightly different white, but it could be that, you know, my one's a bit old now and essentially he's like yellowed ever so slightly. I mean, he's not yellow at all, don't get me wrong. But in terms of this one's like a brilliant white compared to this one. But for me, the best thing about this reissue is the head sculpt and photo reel that they've done on the face there. You can really see the difference. I mean, the eyes on this one are so much more alive than this one. And also his beard actually looks like a beard, or a goatee if you want to call it a goatee. It looks much better than this one. I mean, this one's like a half-arse attempt, isn't it, at growing a goatee. Whereas this one, he actually looks like he has one. And it looks great. If you just turn them to the side, he has that like white line down his hair. And I always wondered whether that was meant to be white, but on this one they've got it like a flesh colour, as if it's like an actual scar. And I think that looks loads better. I mean, just looking at the heads there, you can really tell. If we try and get them the same angle, you can just tell how much better this one is. It looks so much better than that one. Everything about it, the skin tone, everything is much better. So there you go, that's them compared. The figure itself is amazing. Let me just go through some of the things that this figure can do. So there you go. Then I've removed the heavy blaster from his hands because obviously it is a big blaster and it just gets in the way of me trying to do what I'm trying to do here, which is show you the figure. And essentially it is just amazing. He's got so much going on. He's got his holster on his side there. He has this ammo pouch which is removable, so that does ping out, so you don't have to have that on there if you don't want. And it's a simple little plastic peg which goes back in. Also, the knife is removable as well, or the knife pouch. So if you wanted to put the knife up there, I would imagine that's going to fit nicely as well. So if you wanted to have the knife up there instead, you could do that as well. So I think that's really good that you can interchange those things. There's his pauldron. And if you did want to take the pauldron off, you could just, you know, ping off his head and take that off like that. And then let's get the head back on. And there you go. So that's him without the pauldron on. So he's got so much going on with all his webbing. I mean, look at his armour. It's absolutely fantastic. Loads going on. In terms of articulation, as I mentioned before, he is missing the ball jointed hips. He only has the swivel hips. And he is missing hinges on the wrists. But apart from that, he has everything else. His head's on a ball, but it's not one of those double barbells, so you don't get too much motion out of it. He does have the ball hinges on the shoulders and on the elbows. He has a swivel at the upper torso there. He has the knee joints and he has the ankles as well. So really nice figure. I mean, at the end of the day, it was the figure that won the vote from the vault. It was up against some big hitters as well in terms of Weequay. I think Ahsoka was in that lot as well, which has been re-released anyway, but you know, he was up against her, I do believe. So there you go. This is the Republic Trooper from the Old Republic, reissued in the Vintage Collection as part of the vote from the vault. And let's see if they do another vote from the vault, and let's see which figures they pick for us to choose. I liked it. I think it's a good idea. Gets the fans involved. So there you go then, guys. That's my review of the Old Republic Trooper. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching. And also thank you so much to my Patreon supporters and channel members. Your support means a great deal to me. And thank you so much for watching, everybody. And we shall see you on the next one.